Hey guys, welcome back into the second episode of the Wine Label series. So let's create a new document together. The width is going to be 10 centimeters and 15. Okay, so 10 and 15, resolution set to 300, color settings to RGB, and let's go create. So into this element, we'd like to create another kind of style. First, we're going to begin by setting a background in a very smooth gradient. So there is a lot of way to create gradients, but there we're going to create an adjustment layer, not with a solid color, but with a gradient here. So when you click on this list here, I'm gonna click on cancel here. That should open a pop-up window. Okay, even if you cancel it, once you double click on this icon here, you're gonna have the editors of the gradient. So what I want to grab is something really more light than this one. So you have some preset here. If you don't have them, what you can do is into this editor here, you have some really tiny square here. This one is to select the color, so you can pick a grayish color, for example, or let it black. You can play with something like opacity, transparency here. So we're gonna set something like 20% on this one. So it's still black, but we're gonna keep the 20% one. Okay, and this one is white, and I don't want to see it at all. So I'm gonna put 0 as the opacity. Okay. So now it's nearly invisible. So maybe I'm gonna upraise a little bit the level, something like 30%. Yeah, okay, that's great in that way. Okay, so because it's really giving something into this element, but without being too much aggressive in this element. You can also change the style here. You can use the linear, radial with the angle. You can make a mirror or lozenge. You can do lots of different stuff into it. You can put that in another way by changing the angle here, or you can, even if you want something a little bit different here, what we can do is just reverse the color here. So I'm gonna put that in white finally. I'm gonna invert the two elements. So this one's gonna be 0%, this one's gonna be in 30, okay, and this one's gonna be black. Okay, so as you can see, just put some black all around the element. If you want to add another color in the center, you just have to click here, and let's see what happens. If I'm clicking on the yellowish color, you can see that now as it's a reflective stuff, is going onto both sides of this element. If you don't want this color anymore, you just have to pick that off. Okay, I grab it, put that off this element. So there is for our gradient. There is a lot of style of gradients, of course, but you can really you have to train yourself in order to find your own style. I'm gonna use an ellipse here, a black ellipse. So you can click here, and from the time that you click, you can press Alt and Shift in order to make it bigger. I really want something big, okay, in black as low. So you're gonna pick the black here. Okay. I want to grab something like this. Okay, I want this kind of style into this element. If you want to be sure that there is center, I just have to unlock this element. I want to align this element with this one. Okay, so I first select the element that I suppose that it's not aligned. Okay, then the other one. Okay, then when you click, oops, on your element like this, yeah, you can see that there is center them, but not onto the workspace, so you can pick them together, okay, and put that into the center. It's sometimes better to use the guideline. This is what I do most of the time, using the guidelines in order to just align my element. So we get the main shape of our element. We are going to insert another image of this element. So you can go to File and Import. We are going to pick the 1 yard here. Okay, and yeah, you can see that we can enlarge it. It's just for the sake of having some kind of texture, some kind of stuff here. Okay, so it's on the top, that's okay, but now I want to use a clipping mask in order to put these layers into this shape here. So again, you can just hold Alt and click between the two layers in order to make the shape, the guidelines for this image on the top. So as you can see that there is a little tiny arrow, that means that this photo is just inside of this one, okay? And you can add some multiple stuff. Let's admit that you want to transform this in black and white. You can put an adjustment level in black and white, and yeah, you can even change the opacity of this black and white stuff, okay, to create a different style onto this element. I think I didn't put it in the right way. Gonna make it a little bit larger. Yep, that's okay. So as you can see now, the black and white is applied to every element here. So even if I get something new here, it's going to be affected by this black and white. If you just want to affect the one under, you can just again use the clipping mask, okay? That's not a problem. You can even use a clipping mask into a folder or something, or on a group. In fact, on every element into the layer panel here. Let's add something new. We are going to import another texture here. So again, you go to file and you're gonna import, and we are going to pick this dark gray texture. That's gonna allow us to play with the different blending mode into Photoshop. So first, I'm going to make it fit, and I'm going to create a clipping mask. Okay, so now what I can do is, in order to play with transparency, is just selecting one blending mode and going with my arrow down to see what could be interesting for me. Okay, like this one, for example. But you can see that the black and white didn't affect anymore this element enough. So maybe I can go with the opacity, something like this. Or you can even change the style of this element. Let's try with something else. For example, let's try if I'm putting a solid color like this with something, that seems a little bit more vintage, this kind of color, okay? And let's put that in, not in color, in tint or something, okay? And let's see what happened. If I'm putting it in just to test the color, you can do actually lots of tests like this, okay? It's more sepia vintage kind of style here. So it's really up to you to change this kind of element, okay? You can grab the colors here if you want to grab the same. It's 5C3C0E, okay? So, but it's really up to you. You just have to make some tests. And if you don't want it anymore, just can grab it. But I think I'm gonna let it that way. That's okay. Again, we are going to add a rectangle here to put our main design label here. I'm gonna set that to black. Okay, and as you can see, it's between some element that was already into the clipping mask. So if I want this on the top of the element here, I have to drag this on the top, and to put off the clipping mask, you just have to press Alt again. Yeah, so now it's outside of the clipping mask area here. So from this time now, I think we need to clean a little bit our work, because it's gonna be more easy to check after. So I'm gonna press Ctrl, click on all my layer, and press Ctrl G, or click on create a group. Okay, and this one's gonna be my main design here. And there is my background, grade background. Okay, so just make it more easy. And this is going to be my first part of the label, so it's going to be label number 1 for me. Let's be sure that it's centered. Okay, so now I'm good. So now with this kind of element, I'm not sure that the style is fitting very well that way. Yeah, let's try to do something like this. No, it's too dark. I prefer to get something like this. Okay. You can even play with transparency with this kind of stuff. Okay. It's really dependent of what you want to do. We're going to add a new text on the top of this element. So it's going to be the name. Let's, for example, I'm going to do something a little bit more corporate here. I'm going to type insec here. And I'm going to drag it onto this element. Okay, so up just to be sure that they're aligned. Okay, and I'm gonna change the typo in order to get something more corporate here. I'm gonna use the myriad font. This is something that every computer should have. the myriad pro element. So I'm gonna set that maybe in bold in order to just make it more easy to see. Okay, so I'm gonna align this element into it. Maybe it's too fat here. Okay, it seems better now. It's up to you to change some settings into it. For example, I'm gonna double click on my layer text, press Ctrl T, and I'm gonna change the kerning in something for 200, just in order to, yeah, to get it a little bit more style here. Okay, so now we are going to put another text into it. I'm gonna name my wine Domaine du Chevalier. So I'm gonna create a new layers with it. You can press Ctrl J to copy it. Okay, to grab the same style. Double click on it to change the color on the top menu, and I'm gonna paste my elements. Okay, Domaine Chevalier. So it's very convenient to copy the style here because you're gonna copy as though the kerning and the font type, this kind of stuff. Okay, so that's very cool. I'm just gonna set upper capital here. If you're too lazy to do that way, you can as low double click on your element, press Ctrl T, and into this burger menu, you can go and go in capital for every element. Okay, so that's even more easy if you want to do that. Don't want to do it now. It just to show you. Okay. Now I can make a tiny line, okay, in order to set this element really to pose it on something, okay. So you can even pick a line from here and hold shift in order to make it straight, okay. Maybe the style doesn't fit, okay, because you can see that there is a background here. Actually, if I'm pressing enter, you can see that it's white, okay, and is erased with the gradient that is under. So just gonna double click on it, make it black. If you want to change the size, you can of course change the size of your element, or you can set that to empty and set the contour to black, okay, and then you can, for example, put that in a line with some dot or something like this. It's really ugly now, but it was just to show you, okay. So it was just to make a line here. So that's okay. Now I can move it. I can even transform this. You have to zoom it a little bit. Yeah, just okay. You can make some tests in order to see what happened. Okay, I'm gonna just put that way. I think it's quite okay. So now let's add a little bit of another image here. We're gonna add tiny night, but I'm not sure that the full line is okay. So I'm just gonna press Ctrl Z, yeah, and let it like that finally. You can still change your mind with Photoshop. That's the purpose of prototyping some stuff. I'm going to add another image, and we are going to import the night here. So you can see that it's really big actually, and it seems in bad quality, but it's because it tried to just a preview finally. Okay, it seems like an 8-bit character here. That's one. So yeah, we're gonna try to make it that way, just in tiny, just to. Okay, we are pressing enter. The size it's quite okay. Or maybe we can try as low to set the domain chevalier just under. So I'm gonna pick this element with control, set that just under, and maybe put my knight, yeah, just right here. You can make some try. It really depends. Okay. So now for the knight, if I wanted that it got exactly the same color, you can take the color picker here, and you can see that it's not really black, something more like brown or something. So you can add a solid color with a black, okay, again, and you can say that it's going to be displayed onto this image. Okay, so as you can see, just keep the shape and put that into this element. It's not that bad, but maybe I want to grab just some detail here, so you can play again with the blending mode in order to see what happened. Yeah, so you can see that you're gonna grab some very different style into this element. So I'm just playing with my right arrow, and for the tint, that just gives you the black tint, how it was before, how it is now. Doesn't make so much difference, but it just, yeah, it's all about detail in design, you know. So I think it's okay. I don't gonna put some more detail into it. We're just gonna save it. So first I'm gonna press Ctrl S to save it in PSD. So it's gonna be my second label, my night label. Let's call this like that, night label. Okay. And the last stuff is maybe you want to export it. Okay. So if you want to export it, you can, for example, go to File, and you have several ways to do that. Let's save as not PSD but a PDF. Okay, because let's admit that I want to send that to someone just to make a preview for the print. It's not ready for the print yet because we have selected RGB instead of CYMK, and we haven't made some crop mark and this kind of stuff. But mainly this is allow you to give this to anyone. Okay, so we can save this as a PDF. And okay, you're gonna have this pop-up window. There is a lots of different elements onto it, but keep in mind that mainly you can keep this element. I advise you to follow the link on our document that we're gonna push into the platform in order to see what kind of stuff you need for the printer. Okay, we're gonna save it into PDF. Okay, and then just to for your social media and other kind of stuff, we can save and export this as the web. So save for the web. We already done this before, and you can pick the quality here. Maybe it's too big for social media. I know that's okay. So we're gonna let it that way and just press save. Okay, so it's the night.png portable network graphics. Okay, so it's done. Thank you for follow. Hope you enjoy and you will create some kind of new label and new stuff that you try to have fun with Photoshop in order to progress. See you. Bye bye.